I'm a big Vince Neil fan, and I have been for a long time, so I'm quite troubled by the recent accusations that he's been using backing tracks or totally using tracks for his singing during Motley Crue's live performances. I want to make clear that this video isn't about that topic, and I'm not going to voice an opinion on whether or not it's happening or how I feel about it. Instead, what I want to talk about is whether or not Vince Neil ever was a good vocalist and whether or not he was a good fit for Motley Crue. And some of this conversation is in light of comments made by Tom Werman, who was the producer of Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, and Girls, Girls, Girls. He's been very open about the fact that he feels Vince Neil was an incompetent vocalist in the studio, and that while he had the right spirit and he was willing to work really hard, he really doesn't have much native talent or ability as a vocalist. I could not disagree more. I feel that Vince Neil is one of the great 80s metal vocalists, and I think that he was a good frontman, and I want to talk a little bit about why. Let's start with the fact that from the very beginning on the Too Fast for Love album, one of the most distinctive features of Motley Crue's sound is Vince Neil's voice. Also, Vince Neil's lyrics, and you can't really separate the two. If you had a different singer delivering the lyrics, they wouldn't have the emotional punch that they have. And if you put in less emotional lyrics, then even Vince Neil's incredibly solid voice wouldn't be able to lift the material quite so high. Some high points on that EP are Starry Eyes, Live Wire, Merry Go Round. You can't tell me that he sang these lines over and over and over for days or weeks or months in the studio to get them right, because Motley Crue didn't have the money or time when they were making Too Fast for Love to go through any of those kinds of laborious processes. Another thing I want to talk about is Shout at the Devil. Werman makes a big deal about how hard it was to get Vince Neil to sing adequately for this record, but if you go back and listen to it, it doesn't sound like the vocals are patched together. Instead, it sounds pretty raw, pretty real, and again with that passionate delivery. So even if there was a lot of editing going on, it's not so much Vince Neil's ability to sing a song cold as his ability to give a song the kind of spirit and power that it needs to go over the top. I think that he does this. Another thing I want to talk about is Theater of Pain. How Werman can say that Vince Neil is a mediocre singer is beyond my understanding if you listen to something like Home Sweet Home. Not only is his phrasing impeccable, his lyrics are unforgettable, but his melodic sense is just brilliant. I think that even at his dirtiest and sleaziest and most uninspired, Vince Neil typifies what's best about a hard rock performer and a hard rock lyricist. Now, in their old age, as they wind it up, Motley Crue is more about carrying a banner rather than showing off the kind of power and adrenaline that they had when they were young, because it's just not possible for them to recreate youth literally on the stage. So my take on this has always been that Vince Neil is a great vocalist, a really great frontman, and I still believe it. I think that maybe Motley Crue should have stopped touring a while back, but as long as people are wanting to go see them, and as long as it's not revealed that they're purely performing to backing tracks, I think the deterioration and the change in Vince Neil's vocals and his appearance are just a natural consequence of him living the rock and roll lifestyle. At least that's what I think. If you have an opinion on this or any other issue related to contemporary or classic music, leave a comment in the section below, and please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.